His company is Commerce Technology. He's an IT consultant to small and mid-sized businesses, which is in Orange. His previous types of occupations. He's definitely well-rounded. Business development consultant for local, national, and international companies. He's been a teacher, business and strategic marketing at Santa Ana and Cerritos colleges. He's been elected to the Board of Trustees twice for Rancho Santiago Community College District. He served on the Board of Directors for 5 nonprofit organizations, including the Dale McIntosh Center, the Orange County Food Bank, and the Orange YMCA. His spouse is Madeline. He's been married for 27 years. They have 3 children, 2 daughters and 1 son, 3 grandsons. He has 3 cats, 3 horses, 1 dog. The other 2 died. So. His city of residence is Santa Ana. He's born there and grew up in Orange. His hobbies include writing, photography, designing new products. And his activities of interest, for all of those of you who don't know, he likes long, noisy motorcycle rides along the beach.
All right.
His burning desire is to see that one day that our country no longer allows children to go hungry, family and veterans to be homeless, and the most successful industry be poor. Something few people know about him. His first job was delivering the Orange Daily News in Old Town when he was 9 years old.
Wow.
So if you get lost in Orange, I'm sure he knows where he's going. And it's key to success, always remembering that it is my customers who pay my mortgage. The opportunity to succeed or fail was given to me, and that I have a responsibility to give back to my community. Will you please welcome Pete?
One of the most often asked questions I get is, why did my computer crash? And, I always wonder why it doesn't crash. And so I want to show you one of the reasons that a computer crashes. This is a hard drive. You all know that your data is stored here, but you've probably never seen the inside of them. This is what the inside of a hard drive looks like. There are multiple platters in here, and then this is the head. The heads go back and forth. If you ever hear this sound, you know your data's gone. But this spins at 7,200 RPMs. That means the outside track on this hard drive is spinning at 81 miles per hour.
Wow.
And these heads have to go out and find your data. It's amazing to me that anybody could make that work. And what happens is, you bump your computer, your power goes down or out, or any number of other anomalies. You get a power surge, and when this is writing, those heads hit the platter. And as soon as they hit the platter, it starts failing. So your computer will have errors, it'll have a lot of other abnormal behaviors as it's starting to crash. So the reason that I bring that up is the need to back up. Hector and I are always preaching back up your data. And I understand why people don't back up, because I didn't for a long time. And that's because we don't think it's going to crash. We turn it on, it works, we go on about our business. We don't think about the disaster that's looming. I want to tell you about 3 disasters that I've worked on in the last 2 weeks. One is a company in Norwalk, new client now. They called on the 28th of December, I'm sorry, the 29th. On the 28th, their server had crashed. They serve 1,000 restaurants in Southern California area. They have 12 restaurants of their own, 2 tortilla factories, flour and corn, and 264 employees. and their backup was 9 days old. So they lost payroll, AR, AP, inventory, sales, customer data for the last 9 days. I won't go into the details of why the drive was so difficult. Only Hector could understand. It was RAID 5 striped across 3 drives, and the boot container was dead. 2 drives had failed. Normally, 1 drive fails, you can replace it and keep working. We were able, working all night and all the next day, to get the computer back up and at least get to their data, get their programs back in, and get them running. As Hector said, it was very expensive. It wasn't as expensive as 9 days of data having to be re-input, including all of the payroll, so they could get payroll out the next day. The other one is a lady in Orange that I've known many years, and 8 years of photos, including her son's bar mitzvah, on her computer, all of her business documents, because she's a therapist, so all of that, all the legal documents, she's been going through a legal issue, gone, unable to get to those. And it takes extraordinary measures to get back that data. Another one, believe it or not, is the guy that wrote my backup program. How ironic is that? He wrote my backup program. His computer, he went into the hospital, his brother went over and shut off his system, and it won't reboot. It is dead. He hadn't turned it off for years. He never turned his computer on. We aren't able to get his data, so now it's going to a disaster recovery company with a clean room, and it'll cost $1,100 just to get the data off of those drives, if they can get it. So when people ask me how often they should back up, I always ask, how much data can you afford to lose? If you don't mind losing the last week's email, data, photos, any of that, then don't back up, but every week. If your data is critical, back it up every time you have something that's important. Because there are 2 types of computer users. One is the type that has already experienced a computer crash, and the other is the kind that is waiting for a computer crash. And if you've experienced a computer crash, you're in both categories now. Because you're waiting for the next one. They will crash. This cell phone right here is more powerful than the computers they use to get to the moon. The computer at your desktop is more powerful than all of the computers they use to get to the moon combined. These things have gone from building size to phone size or little boxes. And to do that technology is astonishing. Imagine that. Imagine taking any other business. You know how smaller cars would have to be if they went from the Model T to something equivalent to a current computer? It's amazing that those machines work at all. Back up your data. Back up your data. Back up your data, or lose it. And hire Hector or me to spend days getting your data back. I want to just real quickly tell you, up on the table up there is an article that K&N just wrote about one of my products. We also make enclosures for computers in dirty environments. We have them in coal mines, gold mines, cement factories, machine shops, every place you can imagine all around the country. And we use a filter out of the late 80s Camaro for it. It's pretty interesting the way they wrote the article. Also, I have information about our backup drive. This backup drive comes on an external USB drive. You plug it in, the program launches, and you click Start Backup. That's how much you have to learn in order to back up your data. It makes a copy of all your data. It doesn't back it up into a little file that you have to restore from. It makes a copy of all of your data. So if you have a Word document that's critical, this computer crashes, you can plug it into this computer and work on that Word document. It's called the user-friendly backup because that was the premise for the program that my programmer who didn't back up built for me. It copies all of your data into, and on this corner you'll see a little window. It's a Windows Explorer window. It copies your data into a folder with the same name as your PC. So if it's PC, I go to that, I open up that folder, go to C drive, and everything on my C drive is there. If it's my Clean Air computer, then that's also there because you can back up as many computers as you can get on a 500 gig drive. Regardless of whether you use mine or ClickFree or other Symantec or other backup systems, just back up your data. And for my remaining couple of seconds, I'll answer questions.
Pete?
Yeah.
Vector's been talking to me about solid state drives.
Yes.
Are they prone to crashing in a
Yes.
different manner? It won't have to be a different way, but...
What's great about solid state, and they're coming down in price, they're several $100s now, but they're still coming down in price, is those are memory. So you have instant on when you turn on your laptop or computer. And when it crashes, it stops you from being able to write to that drive, but you can still read from that drive. So they're trying to put out my backup system, so I don't tell many people about those. But if you have a laptop especially, you can have your drive cloned to a solid state drive and put it in, and you're pretty safe. You can bounce that around and move it, and it won't crash. Yeah.
I have a two-part question. Number one, I realize that the amount of data, but on average, how long does it take to back up?
You know, if you have a fairly new computer and you have 50 gigs of data, it's going to take you about 2 to 2.5 hours the first time. Every time after that, it's going to take you 10 to 20 minutes.
And the second part of my question is, if you're backing up, can you still work on the computer while you're backing up?
No.
Thank you.
Cloud versus network for a small office management. What kind of guys?
Personal preference. That's where we're going. So we will be there in the cloud, whether we want to go or not. We're going to be there. It's personal preference right now.
Yeah, are you on Facebook? If you bank online, if you buy from, if you're on Facebook, if you're in the cloud.
That's the cloud. It's the internet.
This is all the cloud.
Just a quick question. You may have answered this, and I apologize if you did.
Okay.
When you do the backup, is it off-site data backup? Is it on-site? Is it it's a box that you've got?
It's a physical drive you hold in your hand, and you don't leave it plugged in.
Okay.
You back up, you unplug it, and then you put it somewhere so if somebody breaks in and steals your computer, they don't take your data.
And is it incremental changes, or is it a continual backup each time you do it?
It's a continuous update. So any new files that you've edited or worked on are backed up, but the files that have not been changed since your last backup don't need to be backed up.
I'd like to just tell my experience with backup. I had the other kind that was out on the internet, but I never knew what was happening to it, if anybody could see my data, or if I used it, would it really work? And now I have Peace, and it's so cute. It looks like a makeup compact.
So cute.
You can just keep it anywhere.
As cute as a bug.
And I just plug it in at night, and then I'll back up, and then I take it out, and then I put in another one in my other computer. I've got 3 computers being used, and you can see all your files. It's just really nice.
And we're giving one away today, so do your leads sheets.
Nice.